created this show, Embrace, and it created it over maybe 10, 11 years. It took that amount of time, took 40 years to have the courage to kind of do it. I suppose myself as a person, I suppose my own feelings or my own vulnerabilities. But over the years I've had so many incredible experiences through music, and how that has helped me as a person, as how it's helped me develop, how it's helped me understand things a little better, whether that's myself or other people. How it has helped my mental health and days when 20 years ago I had a breakdown. Music was an important thing, art was an important thing, poetry was really important. There was 2 poems that I read every day, there was music that I listened to all the time, and that carried me through that. But what I'm doing with Embrace at the moment, I think goes even, to me, it burrows a little deeper than just a kind of a superficial entertainment of music or a superficial appreciation of art, and how that can kind of get people through. I think music at its very core, very fundamental. Music was around before language was around. Music was around before humans were around.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Denise Roper on piano, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we're all a little bit afraid of the topic of mental health. Even though there's more conversations going on about it, it's often about poor mental health and when somebody's struggling or absolutely on edge, and not really thinking about how the topic applies to every single person. So yeah, I like us to move past the fear of, oh, am I gonna say the wrong thing? Are we allowed to talk about this? And just normalize conversations about mental health. So with my team at work, we'll ask each other, how's your mental health today, you know? And we know that we're not just saying, are you struggling? Are you all right, right? But we're kind of saying, how's the state of your mind? How are you feeling? How are your emotions? How are your thoughts? And it just acts as a real good connection point. But of course, people are usually afraid of doing that. I started my business about 5 years ago. It's called PVL, and we work with companies globally. So it's been pretty interesting in the COVID world and post-COVID world to think about hybrid work and remote work and how people are experiencing this topic. And it actually really opened up the topic, because suddenly everybody from the CEO down to the most junior person was struggling in some way, right? So it kind of gave us this opportunity to open up the conversation. So we do mental health strategy in a workplace to think about well-being and how we support each other, training, leadership support. I'm a speaker. Really just trying to give people a message that there are things that are in our control when it comes to investing in ourselves, but also being brave enough to check in on each other effectively.
Parents are often afraid of having mental health conversations because they're like, I don't know, I don't want to put it in their mind that now they should be anxious or not well. That's not what happens. Your kids have better language around mental health than you do, right? So actually, if we can learn from our kids and open conversations about emotions, feelings, and again, it's not all bad feelings.
I spent a lot of years teaching. I taught first in primary school, and then I taught for 25 years in Trinity College on the Masters in Education program. And my specific area was interpersonal relationships, be it mainly focused on in the workplace for my work, but I was obviously interested as well in interpersonal relationships in the home and, you know, generally speaking. As far as I know, there was no other master's thesis done on workplace bullying. So in other words, there was very little known about it. And I probably opened up a very big discussion. At that time, I did a lot of work in the media and all of that. But you can't keep talking about bullying because it's very depressing. It drags you down. For the last 15 years, I've been talking about the more positive side of relationships. And obviously, if you have positivity, you have less bullying, of course. I still would do things that I would consider, you know, worthwhile. And obviously, anything to do with mental health is worthwhile. So that's probably why I came all the way up from Dublin to Donegal, and I'm delighted to do it. Well, what it actually indicates in terms of the workplace, that unless the relationships within the workplace are good, then the workplace is flawed. And the workplace is doomed to failure. So it is about how people behave towards each other. And I would do a lot of work with leadership. You know, how, you know, I mean, heretofore you'd have often have leaders who'd be in and they think they were better than everyone else. They might talk down to people. But we now know that if you're a leader like that, you don't bring people with you. You intimidate them, all right. They'll do the work, but they'll never give you the heart. They'll never give you the passion. Whereas, so it's really the importance of interpersonal relationships in the workplace, the ability to listen to music and the benefits of it in terms of switching off, you know, of just maybe, you know, raising yourself above the worries and the anxieties. But mainly my focus in terms of getting people to come out of depths of, say, depression, or, you know, feeling low, or constantly complaining, or negativity. Mainly that would be about learning how to introspect, to look at yourself and say, how did I handle that situation? I wrote my own definition one night of reflective practice. That's thinking about how you're doing things. I wrote my own one night in bed. 2 steps of doing and 1 step of stopping and asking, how am I doing? Kit, one night in bed. Thank you.
I mean, we've done a lot of work with Connecting for Life and Donegal Youth Service around releasing our songs. So as Kierzo, my first single was released. It was called Anxiety. That was done in partnership with them. And that's all about mental health. For me, I've been writing songs since the age of 13, and it's always been a way for me to express myself and my emotions and deal with them. So whenever I'm writing, a lot of the time, the theme of mental health comes up. So especially with anxiety, that's fairly self-explanatory. It's about anxiety, it's about my experiences with it, and then maybe my peers' experience with it. And just form that into one sort of song that's hopefully something universal to listen to for everybody in the audience, and they can connect with it at some level and show that it's okay to express feelings around mental health. Since COVID and lockdown and stuff, like, people have had to reflect on their feelings. They've had no other choice whether to do so, and I think that expressing it through the use of music and art, whatever it may be, is growing immensely with young people. I think especially for you guys, and you guys are a few years younger than me, and from what I've seen from your age group and the people in your schools, that it's really skyrocketed in the past couple of years. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's something to, like, especially music, it's something to relate to, you know, when you listen to a song. There's always, you try and find yourself a bit in it, and yeah, I've definitely found that in myself, and I'm sure these guys have as well. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely trying to go for it. Like, we're putting all of our effort into it as we can. You know, it's, you know, everything else is just plan B, I suppose. I'm sure the Aviva Stadium would have a wee place for us. Maybe I'll be that.
And myself and Peter, will you forget us at that stage? Or will you
No. No, you'll get tickets, like. Maybe on the list.
Thank you, Radio Fades. Thanks for having us.